Good.
I'm gonna also, okay.
It was just me on my end. I had my volume at like 25 out of 100. So, hey, so let's talk about the Teach program.
Close this too.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Tara, I mean, Maine is one of the most recent states to join into this program. First year, how did it go? You know, it's been a little over a year, right? July 2020.
That's right. Yes.
So,
It's been a interesting and strange time to launch a new program during a pandemic when you can't really talk to people in person. But at the same time, I think it was a really wonderful timing for our state because the workforce we've seen increased workforce shortages, and we've just seen the need to have more support. So it's been a great time for Maine Association for the Education of Young Children to partner with our Department of Health and Human Services to bring this to Maine. You know, the first few months were a slow pickup as we started to share information about the scholarship program and talk to folks so they could understand what it was, how it worked. So we started initially with 6 recipients in fall of 2020, and that quickly grew into the teens and then up to our capacity right now, which is 26 participants, partly because we saw a growth in those who were interested in going from having an associate's degree to a bachelor's degree. And so we started funding more folks who are working on their bachelor's degree who work in childcare programs.
And sorry that I didn't get a chance to look clearly enough at this detail. It's for people who want to pursue an associate's, a bachelor's, and is a master's included?
Not at this time. So right now the program is for those working on early childhood education degrees, either associates, 2-year degrees, or if they already have an associate's, going for a bachelor's degree. And to be eligible for the program, they need to be working in a licensed childcare in Maine. So it's really just, you know, targeted to the workforce of early educators that are in our childcare programs.
And you guys have, you said 26 available, a capacity of 26 students that you could give scholarships to right now.
Exactly. We know that, and with current funding levels, it ranges from 25 to 30. So if we're funding more associate's degree scholarships, we may be able to fund more. We right now have started awarding more in the bachelor's degree space. So it's capped at 26. We have a wait list. So we've been adding folks to our waiting list and trying to look for new funding opportunities so that we can get those folks off of the waiting list. We just had a couple people decide that this wasn't the right time for them to finish degrees, so we're able to do that. And that's also been kind of the balance in watching a lot of interest in the program at the same time that there's a lot of struggle and burnout in the field. And so, you know, people wanting to pursue their degrees or finish their degrees, and also navigating a really hard time of working in childcare.
You said there's a lot of interest in the program, so much you've had to start a wait list. How long is the wait list?
Right now, I think we're at about 10 people. You know, we are letting folks know that we will get back to them as soon as funding allows to pull them off the wait list.
I remember talking to Heidi the other day, and she's like, I have one, and the whole state has, you know, 25. There's 25 across the state. I could use 25. So have you heard that from a lot of childcare facility owners that they could really?
We have heard from some. We've had in the first year at least one place that funded 2 of their staff on a scholarship. We had a couple people who joined us in the first year of the program just to finish a degree. They'd actually already done most of their classes, and it gave them that final bit of financial support that they needed to earn their bachelor's degree or their associate. So we were pretty excited in 1 year of the program to already celebrate some folks completing degrees, which then opened up already in the second year to bring on new scholarship recipients. But yes, we have had some child care center directors say, we'd really like to have 4 or 5 or 6. So we're letting them know that part of it is about securing more funding and growing the program. Part of it is also knowing as a leader how many folks you will be able to support, because this is actually, there's a uniqueness to this scholarship model that is different than other scholarship models in that It's not just about giving someone money for tuition. We are kind of a full comprehensive scholarship model. So we have a counselor who works with someone on setting their career goals, supporting them through it. And then the childcare program is a partner with us, and they're expected to set up release time. And so you have to also know how many staff can you support at once, where you're going to be able to give them some release time so they can attend classes and really be successful in earning their degree.
Right, right. You know, and Heidi had kind of mentioned to me that this is what she called a win-win-win. It's a win for the student, right? Because they get 85, well, actually 93% of their tuition covered,
Yes.
right? It's a win for the child care owner because they have a staff who's getting trained, and then it's another win for the child care facility owner because that candidate ends up staying with the facility for a year after they complete the degree. So
that's right. They commit to stay for not only every year that they're working on their degree, but an additional year after they earn it. And every year that they stay with the program and continue on meeting the requirements of it and pursuing their higher education, they're also earning a bonus. So their compensation goes up a little bit as well. So it really is I mean, this is not new. This program has been around for 30 years, and it was started in North Carolina. It's in 23 states. But I think it was a wonderful thing that our state was able to bring it here, and that folks in our state leadership have prioritized this for Maine, really seeing how it can help the workforce. So we're really excited about the possibilities moving forward, and are working hard to grow the program so we can offer more scholarships, because we know that 25, 26 is just starting to, you know, the tip of the iceberg on where the need and the desire could be among folks in Maine who work in childcare and would like to earn degrees.
And I know you just said this in a different way about legislators recognizing, you know, how important the program was, but I'd like to ask you this way, if you don't mind. How badly did Maine need to be part of this program?
Well, it had been talked about for many years, because we actually in our state had a scholarship program not that long ago. It was 15 years ago that ended up during a previous administration getting defunded and stopped. And so there were people back then who were in the middle of getting scholarships that lost them. So when a lot of stakeholders met together back in 2016, I think it was, or 17, including folks from my organization, we talked about, you know, what can we do to add supports for the workforce? And one of them was, you know, making sure that people could have a pathway in their career to earn a degree who wanted to pursue that. And in such a low wage, currently low wage, hopefully changing profession, that it was not something that people could take on. Even loan forgiveness programs didn't always meet the need, because when we're talking about folks working in childcare, we're often talking about folks who've been making minimum wage or just above for many years, often are, you know, they're working full time. So they're someone going back to school or just pursuing school for the first time. Sometimes they're also parents. So we have people that have a lot of expenses already in their life that are not going to be making the money to really put forward on their own funding a college education. And so one of the things I love about this model is it really takes that into account. So in addition to books and tuition, there's also built into the model what's called an access stipend. And that gives that individual scholarship recipient the ability to take this stipend every semester and put it towards what they most need to access higher education. So it could be mileage, gas, it could be broadband, it could be some extra help with paying for childcare while they're in classes. So they choose how to spend that money to help them and their family.
You know, I heard you mention it a second ago, and partially because you were talking about the wages, that there is a degree of burnout in this industry. So how does this program, because of the bonuses that come with it, the ability to attain the higher education, how does it combat it seems like from my understanding of it, it's trying to combat burnout while also providing stability for the industry, right? Because they have to stay with the
Right.
child care provider that's helping pay for the program. So it seems like it's tackling both. Would you agree? Am I interpreting that right?
Well, I think part of the design of the program that's helpful in that is because it's been around for a long time and shown so much success in other states before we brought it to Maine, we've been able to learn from a lot of other states and how they implemented it. And one of the things they told us after years of experience was really making sure that we are support just 1 or 2 classes at a time. So we really make sure that we're not going to fund, a full-time course load while at the same time someone is working in childcare and sometimes parenting as well. And that creates sometimes a longer path to earning a degree, but at the same time, one where you're not overdoing it so much where then after a year or 2, it's just not sustainable and the person has to potentially not only leave higher education, but also the childcare program where they work.
You guys had sent out a tweet actually 20 minutes ago. 22% of people live in a childcare desert. It costs nearly $18,000 a year to enroll an infant and a 4-year-old, 44% more than the average rent in Maine. I mean, can you explain how this program, obviously we have the benefits to the student and the facility owner. Is there a benefit for parents? Sorry,
Yes.
actually, parents of the children enrolled at the childcare facility?
Yes, the biggest benefit for parents when we have good funding, programming, and services for childcare is that they are going to get a place for their children that is not only safe and healthy, but that is stable and is of great quality. And the core of the nurturing aspect, the core of the quality of any childcare program is going to be the people who work in it, just like the core of our school system is the teachers who work in it. So when we can create funding and policies and programs that help people to stay in childcare who want to work there, it is of such great benefit to the parents of young children. Their children are going to have the opportunity to be in a place where they can thrive with consistent early educators and caregivers.
And I guess just to kind of almost double down on that, how does it help the actual kid, the child in the child care? I think you kind of just touched on it.
Yes. So not only is the child within a childcare program going to have a more, the early educators, the staff and teachers around them are going to be kind of consistent, stable, right? Because you really want the most important thing for our youngest children is that they can build strong attachments with the adults in their lives. That is just the foundation of the first 5 years of a child's life. So their parents, their family, and then the people that they're with during the day who are caring for and teaching them. So not only is that going to be more stable for them in their childcare environments, but they're also going to be with people who are pursuing degrees, who are learning new skills, developing new competencies in early learning. And it's really amazing what you can learn. That this is what my degree is in, early childhood education, about these new skills you gain around supporting even the youngest infants in those early oral language skills that develop later on into their early reading skills.
I mean, and this is stuff that every parent wants for their kid.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think this is what every child deserves, and this is what every family deserves, to have access to childcare and access to the caregivers and teachers in that childcare who are well supported, have good working conditions, and can support strong early learning.
And I guess, I don't know how to put this in a appropriate way, so hopefully you can help me. But somebody who's applying for this program is somebody who you would suppose is passionate about childcare and getting better at their skills.
Yes, definitely. In a there's and I should mention too, in addition to our state having this Teach Scholarship program, we also have a strong system of training and credentialing through an organization called Maine Roads to Quality Professional Development Network. And that's also sometimes the best starting place for those who work in childcare that would like to add in some more trainings to work on, there's things like an infant toddler credential there. And sometimes that's the bridge then into going for an associate's or a bachelor's degree. So we have a couple of different points of access, and they're starting an apprenticeship program in Maine too. So I think it's important for people to know that there is a career pathway in this field, and there's also multiple ways to enter it. So some people may be ready to pursue a 4-year degree and some may not, but there's another place for them to start on their journey. And it's going to be of great benefit to them individually and to the children and the families they serve.
Cool. What have we not covered, Tara, that you think is important to mention about this program in particular?
I think one really important aspect of the Teach Scholarship model that's important for people to understand is that when it was created in the 1990s and it started in North Carolina, it was designed to be not just a higher education professional learning initiative, but to be a compensation initiative. So it was this understanding that we have a field that's never been compensated in alignment with their skills and with, you know, the type of wages they should be making. So right away, it was put into the model that there would be every year a wage increase and or bonus for someone on a Teach scholarship. And that has continued across every state, including Maine, in our program model. And it has now become in many states a program that gets tied into other programs, such as there's several states who've added in wage supplement programs, and they will tier their wage supplements where for folks who have more experience or degrees, you get higher supplements. So it can also be a program where a state builds off of it and increases the kind of compensation part of it.
So is it almost like, hey, if you've done the Teach Scholarship program, we would consider to give you more money because you have the training? Am I understanding that right?
Yeah, there are some times where they link it directly to the Teach program, or they just link it directly to any way that a person has earned a degree. But because the state has the Teach Scholarship program, more people have the opportunity to get degrees, which then means when a state puts in a compensation initiative or some type of new program, you've increased the number of people in your state who work in childcare that are eligible for it. So I think for us, it may be a great pathway in the coming years as potentially more public funding comes into childcare to see more people in our state who, when new opportunities come up for wages to be increased or to get wage supplements or tax credits, things like that, we'll have more people eligible in our state to access those new opportunities.
Cool. Tara, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for making the time. I'm going to stop the recording now.